This Labour government is straight away taking everyone at their words. Now, it needs a government to negotiate in good faith. The previous government did not. If the Labour government negotiates in good faith, then there need to be no small strikes.
Do you think that you're ready to have a deal sorted within the week? Because that's clearly what Labour's pushing for, a really quick resolution to this.
If the question is it possible to have a deal within a week, the answer is yes.
The new Health Secretary, Wes Streeting, told his department this week to carry out their work based on one simple fundamental, that the NHS is broken. Though that statement may be an understandable, obvious and easy one to make, the direction and solutions that follow really aren't. Firstly, junior doctors from the British Medical Association have just come back from another strike, so what will a resolution take? Let's talk it through with Professor Philip Banfield, who is the chair of the British Medical Association Council. Good morning.
Good morning, Kate.
Just update us now. Where are you with strikes? I think the latest strike action has finished, but are there any further strikes planned at the moment?
So there are no further strikes planned. The strike mandate remains in place. The junior doctors have always wanted to find resolution to their dispute. So they will keep strikes parked very firmly to one side. Yes, we have had the call from Wes Streeting, and negotiations are likely to start next week.
Well, let's talk about that call. I know you're probably not going to be able to tell me the entire contents of it, but what was the mood like? What was the tone from Wes Streeting? Because he's publicly been quite clear that Labour is not going to be able to stump up a 35% pay increase, which I know is essentially what you are asking for.
Well, a 35% pay increase is an invention put out into the press. The junior doctors for over a year now have simply been asking to have the lost pay, the value of their pay from 2008 put back into place.
So you tell me, what would that amount to then? If 35% is wrong, what is the percentage?
Well, they've lost 26% of their pay over that time.
Okay.
And they need that restored across a period of years.
So 26%. So 26% is what you're looking for. That's the baseline figure. And you seem to be indicating there that you would be willing to take that over a number of years. Is a 5-year period of increases okay for you, or are you thinking more 2-3 years? What's the sort of demand there?
Well, you'll understand that I'm not going to negotiate in a forum such as this. A lot of the groundwork has been undertaken already. Mr. Sunak knew last June how to close a deal with the junior doctors and decided not to take it.
It sounds like there's some kind of dogfight going on in the background. Is everything okay there?
Yeah, no, I'm across in Ipswich at a friend's birthday party, and it's the morning after with a lot of dogs running around the garden.
That sounds lovely. So you won't tell us in full the demands, but do you believe that it will be easier for you to get some kind of resolution with a Labour government now? Have you detected a shift in tone or a change in the way that they're talking about those paid demands?
I think that shift in tone has been there all along. The issue for the Conservative government is that it insisted on stating that they believed the junior doctors would not come to a deal. Clearly, that is false, and this Labour government is straight away taking everyone at their words. Now, it needs a government to negotiate in good faith. The previous government did not. If the Labour government negotiates in good faith, then there need to be no small strikes.
Do you think that you're ready to have a deal sorted within the week? Because that's clearly what Labour's pushing for, a really quick resolution to this.
If the question is it possible to have a deal within a week, the answer is yes. It depends on how much they want to move and how quickly they want to do it. It's important to lay the roadmap out as to how pay restoration will take place. There is an independent pay review body that determines doctors' pay. It's been largely controlled by government previously. It has a report that will be reporting shortly, that can set very much the tone for how doctors' pay is restored
Yeah.
in the future.
So we're looking at a deal, an uplift of around 26% over a period of years, which you are not happy to set out this morning. That is fair enough. We will hopefully get more information on that in the week. And then we come to conditions, because there are huge demands Wes Streeting is making on the NHS to cut waiting lists, to do much more to make sure some of those operations are happening quickly. Is that something that you are fully signed up to? Because it will mean longer hours. Yes, there will be pay there, but do you think there is enough being offered for you to meet those demands?
Well, the difficulty that the current NHS has got is that it's short of staff and beds. And if you extend those hours, you've still got the same staff in the NHS and, frankly, in the private sector as well. So it will be important to improve conditions and well-being for a workforce that is burnt out.
And is that tied into your pay negotiations with the government?
It's not necessarily tied into pay negotiations. Pay negotiations with government tend to take place one group of doctors at a time, so general practice, junior doctors, consultants. The overall, how do we get the NHS back on its feet, is likely to be a discussion with the whole BMA, and that's likely to involve me talking directly to Wes Streeting.
And when you look across Labour's plans, which are very ambitious, what areas are you concerned about, or are you fully signed up to everything they're suggesting?
No, we're not signed up to anything until we see the detail. Yes, there are large parts of the NHS that are broken, and the best example would be in anaesthetics. You need anaesthetists to enable operations to go ahead. We're 1,900 anaesthetists short. There were 2,000 applications for training, but only 800 funded places, which means 1,200 doctors who wanted to be anaesthetists got turned down. Now, that kind of absurd workforce planning needs to be stopped. There are lots of inefficiencies that can be improved on in the NHS, and that can be done rapidly.
And that comes down to cash, of course. And Labour at the moment is promising extra money to cover new appointments and new operations, but they're not promising a lot more cash to deal with some of those bigger issues about training.
Well, you can't run away from the observation that the NHS has been starved of cash over the period of austerity.
Well, Wes Streeting doesn't necessarily agree with that. He says that it's not just about money, it's about being more efficient. And actually, the NHS has quite a big budget. It has a phenomenal amount of money poured into it. But at the end of the day, it's inefficient. And that's why some areas of it are not working properly.
Well, I'm not sure that I disagree with that. If you talk to frontline doctors and other clinicians, it just feels that the money's not reaching the front line, and it seems to be used up elsewhere. So, of course, there are lots of things that can be done to make sure that the front line is facilitated to get on with the job.
So just to be very clear then, what is your ask of this new Labour government?
Well, obviously, number one is to resolve the junior doctors dispute. Number two is to stop vandalising general practice. GPs are wildly underfunded themselves. They need to get back onto their feet. Having a mutually agreed contract rather than one that's imposed. General practice holds the key to bringing the waiting lists down. And then the third thing they can do is to commit to making the population healthier. And they could do that immediately by putting the tobacco and vapes bill into the King's speech next week, for example. That would show a declaration of intent to tackle widening health inequalities, and that they are prepared to take on the people who are prepared to obstruct health and well-being, i.e. industry, to do that.
It's a really interesting point. Professor Philip Banfield, Chair of the British Medical Association Council, thanks for joining us.